The reason we did that is that a bunch of Italians and Jews had come in, and apparently the people didn't like it. They wanted to reduce that. So what they did is they passed a law that basically said, okay, we're going to accept people based on the percentage that were already here in 1890, which basically was to say almost no Jews from Russia can come in because we're going to limit the percentage that were here from Russia before 1890 was very low.
And what was the reasoning behind that?
Didn't like them. So we were trying to limit immigration from people we didn't like.
So fear. Yeah.
Fear, yeah. Okay. And it worked. And so basically that law led to that ship not being able to come over here because we had to be turned away unless Congress had passed a special law.
Got ya.
So it was very easy to say, because we didn't have at that point a refugee law. It was only just they were going to immigrate. And they couldn't come over here on a tourist visa because they weren't tourists. They didn't have a place to go back to. They were clearly fleeing from Europe. And we sent them back, and about 500 of them died in concentration camps. So you see liberals posting this. I've not seen anybody reply, well, that was different, or have an explanation why that was a good thing, or why, So it's a pretty clear parallel. There's some differences, but apparently, for one, a lot of people said, how do we know that these aren't going to be Nazi spies?
Yeah.
And now we don't really view that many Jews as working with the Nazis. But maybe at that point, maybe at that point there were fewer people that realized, that's not going to happen. So they got turned away, and now we're trying to do the same.
Yeah, it's, I don't know.
It's really disappointing.
I was going to say encouraging, but I mean,
we're at a slightly different page.
Yeah.
You find it encouraging, yeah? So you're still trying to bring about the destruction of the world.
Well, it's going to happen eventually.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
why not? Why we're around, right?
Because
we'll see some shit, right? That people probably wouldn't normally have seen for another 600 or 700 years.
Right. Let's have the fireworks now.
Yes.
I'm too old. I don't want to wait up till midnight. Maybe we can have the midnight, New Year's Eve fireworks at 10. All right. So let's bring about the destruction of the world. Well, then we've got about 14 candidates, each of whom I think are going to work hard.
And they're all, like I said, they're all highly qualified to do that, just that. And probably Ben Carson is the best because, he's got Jesus looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, I look forward to a couple things with his presidency. One, it'll be a chance for me to despise somebody and not go racist and say, see how this is done? You don't make any racist references.
No, but you know what? Because it won't be that easy. Because you can't just, it'll be a black president, and you'll be against his policies, but people will still call you racist. Right?
Yeah, but I won't. Okay, well, but don't give him ammunition.
On the plus side, for me, if Ben Carson is our next president, I could tell my 9-year-old son that it's still Obama.
Lovely. That's fantastic.
Yeah, because he's 9.
He's 9.
Not that all presidents look the same, but because he's 9.
Yeah, he doesn't. Right. He doesn't. That's a good point.
But would you let that guy? I mean, he's a brain surgeon.
Well, what I'm thinking is that since he has made it very clear, look, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm unqualified, and that's why I should be president. He's like, I'm not a politician. So I think what's going to happen is, even though he's sort of retired, I think I'm going to probably be able to go down to Florida. I think that's where he lives, right? I don't know. But anyway.
I think so.
I'll be able to go down and probably start doing some brain surgery. And be like, I didn't go to medical school, but how hard can this be?
But he no longer practices. Has he retired?
I think he might be retired. Also,
that's the part I don't get, because, not just anybody can be like a neurosurgeon, right?
I think he wanted to go out on top. Oh, you're saying, how is this guy a brain surgeon?
Yeah, and still have, because I would just think academically, I mean, you got to be pretty smart to do that. But
yeah, I think he is. I think he's smart only when we're dealing with the brain. I don't know what to say.
Not his own brain.
Yeah.
No, I see. It's that
it doesn't compute,
and maybe that's why he appeals to so many Republicans, because it's that dichotomy, right? Where if you dig very deeply at all, they tend to contradict themselves, the candidates, in a very short period of time.
Right.
And he just seems to be that embodiment of that. Like he's a walking
Yeah, I mean,
contradiction.
he's against pretty much any government program that helps people. And he is the beneficiary of all sorts of programs through the government that help people.
And he's worth quite a bit. Like if you ranked all 20 Republican candidates, I would say he's probably in the top 5. Would you? I think he is.
Wealth-wise. Oh, well, I
if
guess...
not, facts don't matter on this show. We know that. So let's just say yes.
Well, you don't make a lot of money as in Congress, obviously. So I would expect Donald Trump to be number 1.
Yeah, he is.
Even though he's worth probably about half as much as he ever tells you he is.
Yeah, and has that guy got, like, you're a billionaire. Like, buy a vocabulary. It's like everything's terrific or stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
He is now wasn't he shown to be eating a pizza with a knife and fork?
No, that was
Wasn't?
No, that was Bloomberg, I think.
I think it was Trump. All right. Anyway,
well, it's on, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
okay.
He's just a regular guy, He's just a regular guy who, had he not done anything in life, he would have been worth hundreds of millions of dollars from an inheritance from his father. But he made something of himself. And so we're going to have to deal with him. I mean, do you think he can make it? Can he become the President of the United States?
I would...
Carl, you have an opinion? I mean, you're very quiet.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to let you guys do your thing.
Sure.
About Trump?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am not a supporter of his, but I can see a scenario where he could be the nominee for sure. I don't know about beating Hillary, but be the nominee. And and I think that the one interesting scenario where he could get it, because I've been watching. I've been increasing my MSNBC intake. Yes, I watch Morning Joe a lot. I wake up for about an hour and then go back to sleep. I watch the first hour, and they're actually saying where they think that he could surprise people and win is that if the fear, if anything happens at all in the border inside the U.S. from terror before the election, his kind of blowhard aspect is going to be probably embraced by a lot of people suddenly, whether it's justified or not. They're saying that if everything stays calm, Hillary has a cakewalk. If one big thing happens here again, then he takes it.
Well, it's with the Republicans, the definition of a big thing can be anything. Benghazi.
No, but see, that blew up in their face, and there's 17, 20, however many candidates, they are all rooting for a terrorist attack on our soil.
They're
all predicting it. They're all projecting it.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Yeah.
Obama has made us weaker. We're susceptible.
Yes.
It's going to happen, and then they'll say, I told you so, and vote for us so that we can run the economy into the goddamn ground again, because that's the only way we can get this country and make this country great again.
Is there any difference between them and used car salesmen? Because the used car salesman will lie about every negative becomes a positive, Okay, it's a... the wheel has broken off. Well, it's a 3-wheel vehicle. It makes sharper turns. They turn everything that's...
Yeah, but that's kind of because you can say that almost about any politician. Like they're worse than a used car salesman. Like I would trust a used car salesman with my kid
right
before I would trust one of these candidates, because I don't want to generalize all Republicans, right? Because I personally. If like a Barry Goldwater,
right,
like a principled conservative that I can appreciate. I can understand that. You can have. There's some middle ground, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but that's gone. That's the. I think we've said it before on the show. Is Ronald Reagan couldn't get nominated today.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I look at most of these names, like Chris Christie, Jeb Bush, Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, I mean, most of those people have said and done things that just disqualify them as a human being to possibly be president.
Yeah, but I think that's part of it's because it's a primary, and they probably their PR people on their list of the things to do every day. Probably the thing at the top is like say something fucking crazy.
Yeah,
and then it's like okay, check.
Right.
And then and actually of their top 10 things, that's probably
1 through 5.
Yeah, that's like a lot of them. Like say something.
Yeah, it
that,
hasn't hurt Donald Trump. I mean, Donald Trump
Yeah.
says crazy shit and his numbers go up.
Yeah.
Or he answers a question and says something crazy and his numbers go up. The attack in Paris has helped him.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they don't just show up at political rallies with a sharpened stick and just poke
Prod
people.
things.
Just
Prod things.
just poke the people that are supporting them and physically abuse them. By the way, it's Bill de Blasio eating pizza with a fork.
Oh.
Because that's a burning issue that I know people are going to ask us about.
We need to know
Yeah.
this. All right.
So did you hear about this? This is something that I saw in the newspaper.
All right, it is also Donald Trump, by the way, on the
Oh, is
pizza
that right?
fork. Yeah, because Jon Stewart made fun of him for that. But all right, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, well, people make fun of de Blasio.
Yeah. All right.
For many other reasons. One is, he's basically a cop killer. Nice. Or hater or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
He doesn't support the NYPD.
Yeah.
But I mean, since our last show last year, it seems like all the racial tension is gone in the U.S. I think.
Yes.
Yes.
It's been interesting because Missouri yet again popped up with Mizzou, with my alma mater, with these students who are protesting and had some results. And one article is interesting. Pointed out that basically Missouri is an overlap between slave states, so southern states, and more northern industrial states. So got a little mixture. It's almost like if you mixed Chicago with Alabama or something. Anyway, that might be why we've got horrible racism and then people doing something about it, I guess would be one way to put it.
And horrible racism, a little bit different than wonderful racism.
Well,
it's on the other end of the racism spectrum.
Right. We don't,
because,
you don't get
there's
to see
categories.
That. Yeah. Wonderful racism is
sometimes my kids will say something stupid and racist. I'll be like, not bad.
Yeah. It's like,
it's not horrible.
Yeah, I mean, if you said, I didn't know that non-black people could be rappers. That might be a kid might be surprised by that or something. Yeah, that's wonderful racism. We do. They have succeeded, and I don't know. I think it's very discouraging to read what people I went to high school with think about this.
Oh man,
but
really? And you're talking about probably maybe not friends, but people you knew,
people I knew from high school. Yeah, Facebook friends,
chicks you dated,
something like that. And then, but I think overall it's encouraging because people are now standing up. They're getting results, and it's not going to be business as usual for the way things have been done to basically ignore issues and hope they just go away.
Well, it's still for me. That's Plan A. That's.
Well, I do that in my personal life. I don't want. I want my politicians to address the problems in the world while I ignore them. Carl, you have anything to add to that?
Okay. Well, I just have a brief. I don't know if you want to deal with this or not.
Sure.
But you brought up the I side with
Yes.
.com. I kept wondering, what is that test? Where can I find that test? Because people were telling me it would be interesting to see what you do. Because I'm kind of all over the map.
Yes.
And Jim, I'm appalled and horrified. I'm notoriously, it used to be very right-wing, moderated somewhat. I identify with Rand Paul normally publicly, but then you've been lately saying, Carl, you're so close, come over to the good side, come to the light.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an exciting bombshell he's about to drop on us.
I side with Bernie Sanders.
Oh my God.
Okay, get this. This makes no sense.
This is a breakthrough.
It says, Bernie Sanders, I side with him on economic, domestic policy, foreign policy, immigration, environmental, healthcare, education, and science issues 90% of the time. Hillary Clinton, 84%. Martin O'Malley, 76%. Okay. But here's where it doesn't make any damn sense. Mike Huckabee, who I can't